So I will first of all say congratulations. Can you guys all say congratulations? I'll tell you why. Following on what the last speaker said, you guys are at the right time. There's a saying, I'll give a rough version of it, that there's a tide in the affairs of men. If you catch the tide, you can ride to the highest heights. If you miss it, it could lead to ruin. Right now, at this very point in time, like the speaker just before me mentioned, you do not need connections to move anymore. Everything is digitized and borderless, right? You can meet anybody who you want to meet. You can talk to anybody you want to talk to. You can market anything you want to market, independent of government, private sector. In fact, new people coming up with business no longer even need to go to banks to get money. In the past 2 years, the tech and startup space have been the largest source of inflow into Nigeria over oil and gas for the first time ever in the past 2 years. The average age of people who are raising this money are between 30 and 35. A lot of them in their early mid-20s. A lot of them, right? The key thing now becomes, there's two things. A, do you have an idea? Do you have a sector of focus? And B, packaging. Now, I'm going to avoid trying to inspire you and motivate you. And I'll tell you, because other people have done that, I'll tell you what actually happens, right? And how it works. Packaging. You have social media. You have LinkedIn. Maybe I'll tell you a story. There's a young man I know. I used to, in fact, I wasn't a mentor, but I advised him passively during his internship. He was interning at a friend's company. So this guy had an idea. I won't mention his name, but he had an idea in the agriculture space, which is the space I play in. And he came up with a small agri-tech solution that he wanted to build out. So we spoke about it passively. And I told him, you know what, you need to go online and find the sorts of people who are in the field you're trying to go into, right? And get a mentor. So he packaged together, we packaged his LinkedIn account, right? On LinkedIn, he reached out to certain people globally who were advisors, investors in the space he wanted to go into. And he wasn't asking them for money. He just said, I'm a young man, I've come up with this solution for Nigeria. I think it can be scaled across Africa. I would like your advice as I think it through. And he sent them the thing. Some people ignored him, some people responded. The people who responded sort of had a few he's never met them before, had a few phone calls with him and sort of advised on what he was building out. The guy put together a deck. A deck is a pitch deck. It's how you share your ideas, like a presentation. He put together a presentation. This guy's an intern. He was a year and a half out of university. He put together a presentation, called a few people, the people who were advising him he met on LinkedIn. He asked them to join his advisory board. Yeah? An advisory board is, instead of a board of directors, you can, for example, if you have a business now, you can meet Mr. Makeba and say, I have this thing, can you please be on my advisory board? So that means you can put his picture on any presentation you're doing and say, these are one of the people advising my business. He's not giving you money, he has no obligations, he cannot be sued, he's just an advisor. People will typically, if they have a relationship with you, will agree to do that for you. So this guy got 3 people of that nature. He met on LinkedIn. Well, actually, 2 people. I was one of the 3. And they joined his advisory board. This is, let's say, at this point, it was 9, 10 months into him having the idea. By the next year, after 1 year of having the idea, he got, when I say idea because he had not started it, it was just existed on paper. He got a $15,000 grant. Yeah? He saw the grant online, sent in his deck with the people already on the deck who spoke for him. He got a $15,000 grant. From the $15,000 grant, less than 2 years in, he started applying for seed funding, right? He got seed funding of $150,000, less than 2 years from the point where he had the idea. Why? He packaged himself well. He was very deliberate about how he used his social media handles, Instagram and LinkedIn, particularly his LinkedIn. He made the right connections. He spoke to the right people. It wasn't extracted, he wasn't asking for money. He was asking for advice, and people were willing to give it. And he leveraged all of that to package himself properly. A, to actually have something viable, but B, also to present and communicate it in a way where he attracted grant funding, free money. And the grant funding allowed him to build a minimum viable product, you know, the basic version of what he was trying to do, which he now leveraged to get $150,000. $100,000 today is about, what, 80-something million naira. So we're talking over 100 million naira in less than 2 years. This guy was not up to 25 years old yet. Yeah? All of the people that were involved in this thing, except me, he had never met them before. The advisors he had never met before. The people who he got the grant funding from, the organization he got the grant funding from, is actually a German organization. They have no Abuja office. The person was in Abuja. There's no Abuja office. It was at the point of getting the grants that he met them. The venture capital he got, the $150,000, until they paid him that money, he had never met them before. Do you understand? That's the time you're in. His father was not anybody. His mother wasn't anybody. He didn't need any governor to make any phone call for him. He didn't need to go to a bank. No, he just leveraged what is existing at the moment. Now, a lot of people, go online and, you socialize, you spend a lot of time shooting your shots if you're a guy, chasing babes. I think you're missing an opportunity, if that's all you're doing with the opportunity you have now, right? Right now is a wonderful time. There are no barriers at all. You need to be deliberate about everything. And if you are, I'm not saying it's magical, but it's very likely. It happens for a lot of people. I'll tell you another short story. So 2 years ago, obviously mine is different because I'm a bit further along in my journey, but 2 years ago, I had an idea during the lockdown, right? Right after the lockdown, I had an idea, and I thought, this lockdown has shown some challenges. And I have this idea, I think it can work, right? I called somebody I met on LinkedIn. He's a venture capitalist. He represents a US-based investment firm. But I didn't know him personally. So I called the person, but we were friends on social media and we had each other's number. I called the person, I said, I'm thinking of this thing. Do you think it makes sense? The person says, actually, you know what, it makes sense. And there's money that is looking for solutions like that. If you can build it out, why don't you? If you can, build a test model, run it for 6 months and let me know how it goes. So I did that. Put some small resources together, ran a test case for 6 months, and I showed him what the results were. It has to do with storage and agriculture. I showed him what the results were, and he said, you know what, this makes sense. Come and talk to our firm. I started talking to his firm. I put together the deck. Mind you, I hadn't really started this thing yet. In fact, there's some things I want to say here that I can't say. Mark, this is your camera. You're not going to bring me talk some things. So we started talking, and long story short, I packaged it very well. Yeah? I met, through this person, 2 other firms that I had not met before. I still haven't met them till today. Yeah? We went in to raise $4 million was our target. In the space of a year, we got our first 1 million in pledges, of which over 500 is coming in cash. And we have, funny enough, as of Thursday last week, we got offered the balance of 3. All of these people I have not met. Do you understand what I'm saying? We haven't met before. That's the time we're in. And I'm an OG in this time. I grew up in the time of landlines, yeah? You guys are literally coming out of university at the time when this is happening. Do you understand the opportunity you have? You are literally coming out of university, or you are in university even, at the time when this is happening. The opportunities are boundless. The core thing is, as I said, find something that you are particularly passionate about. And if there's an opportunity, if there's a challenge in that space, if it's agriculture, what are the challenges in agriculture? If you like fashion, is there a challenge in fashion? Is there something you think you can bridge? Yeah? Once you find it, and you're sure of it, your entire persona, I'm serious about this. I mean, it's not the only solution, but I'll tell you how I did my own and other people I know. Your entire persona, especially your digital persona, should be marketing that thing. Nowadays, when you apply for funding, they ask you to send your social media handles. I don't know if any of you guys have ever applied for a grant before, apart from this one. Sometimes they ask it there, can you send your social media handle? Share the handle of your, whatever it is you're building, but share your personal social media handle, because they want to see the receipts. They want to see your trajectory. Are you someone who's just trying to make a quick buck, or are you a dedicated person who's been on this path for a while? So you kind of need to be deliberate about that digital persona of yours, right? And how you package it, put it together. It is also like a beacon that'll help you talk to the right people. There's some people that meet me on LinkedIn, and they send me a request and maybe a message. You know, you open the message, before you respond, you click on their profile, and you look through the profile and it's just not saying anything. It's not about what they've done before, it's about how they've packaged themselves. So because of the packaging, you're like, if you can't even really package yourself properly, I don't think that whatever it is you're saying, you will be able to make the kind of relationships you need to grow that thing. So you need to be deliberate, yeah? And it works. So the most I'll say is, or I'll cap it by saying, think big, yeah? But start small, and you can move very fast now. So think big, start small, and move fast. The world is yours. And anybody who wants the other expo that I didn't say here can talk to me after this. Yeah? All right, cheers guys. Good luck.